There once was a shy little girl. And this little girl was so shy that she didn't really enjoy school. She didn't enjoy school because she didn't feel like she fitted in. Friendships were hard. She didn't like speaking to adults, and she felt quite misunderstood by her teachers anyway. But this little girl had a whole of a life outside of school. She did drama, where she could be a different person on stage. She did music, where she could express herself. She did dance, where she could be creative. And she could feel confident in these places. And this little girl just wished she could dance, play, and act all day so she could be creative and feel confident in school too. But there was a reason why this little girl didn't feel like she fitted in. But because she was so shy, her needs went entirely unnoticed by her teachers. Because as it turns out, this little girl had undiagnosed ADHD. And this little girl was me. Now, I don't think I would have the confidence to be standing on this stage today if it wasn't for my early out-of-school experiences as a child. I also don't believe I would have the creativity, resilience, or entrepreneurial skills to now be helping thousands of business owners to approach schools in their communities so they can impact their local children too. But what I do believe is this: that creating resilient and responsible citizens of our future starts with enriching children's education today. I also believe that schools are at the heart of our communities. They're a daily hub of connection for parents, for teachers, and for the children who are the future of our communities. But what about the children who are not so fortunate? Because I recognise that I was really privileged to be able to attend so many out-of-school activities. But what about the children who can't? It's a sad fact that the UK's poorest children are 3 times more likely to miss out on extracurricular activities because their families simply cannot afford to send them. But we can reach these children with extracurricular activities in their schools. The Welsh Government deems play such as cultural, artistic, and recreational activities to be so important that we became the first country in the world to enshrine a child's right to play in law. And they also believe it will lead to safer communities. And we know that we need our future citizens to be responsible so that our future communities do feel safe. But did you know that knife crime was up by 68% during the same period that youth services were cut by 40%? Well, we can still reach young people with extracurricular activities, but in their schools. We know that we need our future citizens to be emotionally well for the resilience of our future communities. But a recent survey showed that nearly a quarter of young people in Wales say they felt very, very high levels of mental health symptoms since the pandemic. But we can reach these young people in their schools. We know that we need our future citizens to be eco-conscious and environmentally aware for the sustainability of our future communities. But according to a recent report, children are ill-equipped for nature and climate crises, and their connection to nature drops sharply from the age of 11. But we can reach these children in their schools. We know that we need our future citizens to be creative for the growth of the workplaces and the businesses of our future communities. But a recent report showed that 35% of young people are interested in being creative, but they don't regularly get an opportunity to use their creative skills. We can reach these children in their schools. We know that we need our future citizens to be emotionally well for the resilience of our future communities. But a recent study has shown that less than half of children are currently getting their 60 minutes of activity per day. Well, we can reach these young people in their schools, because a future healthy, creative, responsible and resilient population will result in a healthy, creative, resilient community. Over the last few years, there has been a significant impact on children's learning and their emotional well-being. And the number of school avoiders in Wales has almost doubled since the pandemic. So it's even more important that we reach these young people in their schools, particularly for those that would really thrive off more creative activities, as well as their statutory academic subjects, and especially for those children who could do with extra intervention for their emotional health as well. So what can we do? Well, I believe collaboration is the key. Well, what does collaboration look like? It's like the baker I worked with who had a passion for healthy food. She approached schools in the poorest areas of her community, and schools saw the power of teaching nutrition through cookery. And they funded her to go in and educate entire families within their community on how they could cook healthy meals with simple ingredients, even on the smallest of budgets. It's also like the ballet dancer I worked with who had a passion for TV and film. She approached schools in the poorest areas of her community, and she gave the children there opportunities to audition, something they never would have had the chance to do if she'd have kept this back for her ballet school students. And it's like the yogi I worked with who had a passion for mindfulness. Schools saw the power of mindfulness for mental health, and they started hiring her in for full days throughout the week so she could also provide intervention for students' mental health for the ones who needed it the most. So who can collaborate with schools? Activity or service providers, tradespeople, business owners, public services, therapists, entertainers, artists, authors, and you. You may be in one of those roles, or you may be in none of those roles, but you probably have a hobby, a passion, a skill. And I put it to you that each and every one of you sitting here today has a skill. And I want you to think about how that skill could solve a problem. How could it provide a solution for teachers, for pupils, for schools? Maybe, for example, you have a skill in gardening or carpentry, just like the landscape gardener I worked with who wanted to construct outdoor classrooms for schools. And this led to better outdoor learning and better emotional well-being for our future citizens as well. Maybe you've overcome a challenge in your life and you would love to inspire the next generation about how they could overcome adversity too, and maybe even help others in their community to do the same. Just like the DJ I worked with, who wanted to talk to children in schools about how we grew a business with a disability. And this, by the way, could also be a fantastic opportunity for you to brush up on your public speaking skills as well. Maybe you're a business owner and you have skills where you could actually help children with their cognitive development in some way, with their problem solving, with their critical thinking, just like the business owner I worked with who actually helped set up entrepreneurial skills clubs for schools. And this, by the way, could be another great opportunity for you to fulfill your social corporate responsibility as a company as well. Or maybe you are currently in a job where you have skills that would lend themselves really nicely to an enrichment activity. Just like the former financial services professional I worked with who set up money workshops for schools. And she helped children to learn how to budget so they could safeguard their futures and manage their money better as adults. This, by the way, could be a great opportunity to break free of the 9-to-5 and grow a business teaching something you already know. What I'm saying here is I think it could be really mutually beneficial for us all to reach out to our local schools and offer to demonstrate how our skills could provide outcomes for the pupils and impact for the school. You'd really be helping children just like that little girl I mentioned at the beginning. Because together we can build creativity, resilience, and entrepreneurial skills in the next generation. Imagine a world where every child is actually excited to go to school and the positive ripple effect that could bring. How amazing would it feel to be a part of that change? If you can create impact for your local school, you'll be helping to create impact for the future of your community. Thank you.